Hello everyone and welcome back to JT on the Go. Today we are visiting the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. We are starting off this video with a short trip to the Rocket Garden. We are going to the Rocket Garden to see the real Saturn V rocket. I'm not kidding, look at the size of this huge rocket. This was the rocket that took America to the moon. However, after Apollo 17, President Nixon ordered NASA to reduce their budget by canceling the last 3 Apollo missions, 18 through 20. Because the Saturn V could only be used once, they took one of the 3 leftover rockets and put it into this big building. Another Saturn V's third stage was turned into Skylab, and the second and first stages of the rocket were used to get it into orbit. And the third one is in Kennedy Space Center in Florida. This is where the lunar module sat in, on top of the third stage. Here are all the Apollo missions in chronological order. After the Apollo 11 mission, all of the Apollo missions that followed landed on the moon except Apollo 13. This is a recreation of the Apollo 13 astronauts stepping off the chopper and onto the aircraft carrier that recovered them. Having lunch, they put up this wall that showed the evolution of space travel. This part of the Space Center shows you the timeline of what happened over the years. This is Explorer 1, the first US satellite launched in 1958. This is the Mercury capsule that put the first American into space, Alan Shepard, and the first person to orbit the Earth, John Glenn. If you look up, this is the Gemini capsule. The Gemini missions gave NASA all the ideas to land the man on the moon. And this is a replica of the man landing on the moon for the Apollo program. Fun fact, the lunar rover that's in the display was only used for Apollo missions 15 through 17. There were only 12 men that walked on the lunar surface, but after the launch of Artemis 1 in late 2022, we are now on the verge of going back to the moon. These are all of the space shuttle badges for every single mission of the space shuttle. If you go outside, they have a space shuttle sitting on top of the 747 that transported the shuttle. This space shuttle was a replica of the 6 space shuttles completed: Enterprise, which never flew in space but was used for testing, and then there is Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavour. Challenger and Columbia were both destroyed in terrible accidents, while the other 4 can be seen in space museums across the US. Enterprise is in the Interpret Museum in New York City. Discovery is in the James S. McDonald Space Hangar at the National Air and Space Museum's Stephen F. Udvar-Hazy Center in Chantilly, Virginia. Atlantis is in Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral in Florida, and Endeavour is in the California Science Center in Los Angeles. All of these museums will be future videos for my channel.
Is this the real shuttle? It's not.
This is the real 747 transporter. If there was bad weather in Cape Canaveral, Florida, where most space shuttles landed, then the space shuttle would land in either California or New Mexico. Because the space shuttle was a glider, it couldn't fly by itself, so we needed the help of this 747 transporter to bring it back to Florida. After the space shuttle retired in 2011, the 747 was taken here. Before it got here, they cut it into sections and put it back together for display, because it was too big to be brought in here by itself. This is a real Falcon 9 first stage. SpaceX makes their rockets reusable. This one flew into space before. After SpaceX retired it, they brought it here for display. In fact, SpaceX has a whole fleet of Falcon 9 first stages, and some of the Falcon Heavy side cores were Falcon 9 first stages that have flown into space before. Now we are going to enter a replica of Skylab, America's first space station.
But it's really
This is what the interior looks like. And to finish this tour, we are going to the real Mission Control here in Houston. This building in the distance was where the Mission Control is. It was used for some of the most historic space missions. It was used in Gemini, Apollo, and the early days of the Space Shuttle program. This place was declared a National Historic Landmark. This room that we are in behind the Mission Control was open to families 24/7 that had loved ones on a mission. There will be a presentation that will show us this Mission Control room when Neil Armstrong took the first steps on the moon.
Controllers gonna go for landing. Retro. Go. Fido. Go. Guidance. Go. Control. Go. Telcom. Go. GNC. Go. Econ. Go. Surgeon. Go. Capcom, we're go for landing. Eagle Houston, you're go for landing. Over. Copy, still to go. Roger, understand. Go for landing. 3,000. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. ATA at a descent. Touchdown. Launch control both auto. Descent engine command override off. Engine arm off. Fantastic. 413 is in. Do every day. Go. We copy it down, Eagle. Houston,
T1, stand by for T1.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Rocket Tranquility, we copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot. Thank you. You're looking good here. Okay, we're going to be busy for a minute. Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. You take a 10-second look. You just hit the lower bed. Okay. Okay, I just checked. Get back up to that first step. It was collapsed too far, but it's adequate to get back up. Roger, we copy. We're going to get a little jump. Buzz is in Houston. F2, 1/150th second for shadow photography on the sequence camera. Neil's running about 1,700 now. Okay. At the foot of the ladder, the left footpads are only depressed in the surface about 1 or 2 inches. Although the surface appears to be very, very fine grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder down there. It's very fine.
MOB TV network.
Go ahead and work.
Switch to another station or something.
Right, we're looking at honeysuckle now. It's a little bit cleaner.
Okay.
And step off the limb now. Yes, sir.
2818.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. First set foot upon the moon, July 1969, indeed. It came in peace with all mankind. As the crew member's signatures and the signature of the President of the United States.
I think your personal dedication and professionalism displayed here in Mission Control have contributed very substantially to the posture that this country enjoys today in space exploration. As a personal expression of our gratitude for your help, your cooperation and tolerance over the years, General Phillips and Chet Lee and Tom McMullen and I have left in custody with Flight Director Gene Kranz a small token of our esteem and thanks. Lots of luck, and don't choke on the bubbles.
When we were heading back to the tram, I was the first in the group to find an armadillo on the side of the sidewalk. After I recorded this clip, the rest of the group stopped to take pictures. They ended up getting a little safari tour. Thanks for watching this video about the Johnson Space Center. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you again real soon. This is JT on the Go signing off.